Hello, and welcome back to that Eurovision podcast, Eurovision the Slice of Life. My name is Tim. My pronouns are he, him. I'm doing okay, actually. It's a Sunday, and it's just the start of October, so we've already had like more than a month in on the Eurovision season. Things are picking up slowly. We've already had some progressions about Eurovision 2023, and you know what? Before we delve deeper into that, I'm very excited about this episode because we're going to talk about some things from the previous seasons. So, we're just going to finish off a few things before we really get to the nitty gritty of Junior and Eurovision 2023. So, joining me in today's episode is.
Hi, it's Jazzy. My pronouns are she, her. I am doing really, really well today. I'm really, really excited. Like, things are really starting to pick up for the 2023 season. We're starting to get songs in for Junior Eurovision 2022 as well. Junior Eurovision is like something that I see as like the proper new year. It's like the start of like everything starting like because after Junior Eurovision you have your national finals and then you have like your pre-parties and then you have Eurovision. So super excited we're starting to get junior Eurovision songs in. And I do feel like today's like one of the last episodes we'll talk about anything in regards to 2022. But really, really excited to talk about today's topic.
Hello, I'm Euan. My pronouns are he and him. I'm super excited to be back on the podcast. Um, we're really getting really far into the season, and to be honest, I was a little bit of a bad Eurovision fan, and I didn't follow that many selections last year. So this recapping all of these previous national finals is just really doing quite a lot to help just build that excitement for me. And I'm super, super excited to go into like the Junior Eurovision and then start the national finals.
Okay, then. All right, then I'm very happy that you and Jazzy are joining me in this episode. And as I've already mentioned, we're just finishing off something from the 2022 season. And that is the OGAE Second Chance Contest. So we're in 2022 now. So this is the 26th edition of the competition. Whew. And obviously, if you are not aware already, Second Chance Contest, it basically is made up of songs that have participated in a local club's respective national final, but obviously didn't go to Eurovision. So the purpose of this edition is to take a song, an entry, that the club thinks should have gone to Eurovision and then, you know, basically compete with other clubs with their respective entries. And this year, because of the God knows how much national finals we had. We actually had more than 27. So, well, we actually had 27. So it's 27 competing entries. So I'm going to start this off by just saying who's actually competing. Um, on my end, I'm going to say who the first nine are. So, in a running order. First up, we have Ukraine, Roxalana with the entry Girls. Up next, the second is Croatia, Marko Bosniak with Molizenas. Third, we have Sweden with Medina, Ine Diman. Fourth, we have Poland with Kuba Smadjowski with Lovesick. Fifth, we have Spain with Rigoberta Bandini with Ay Mama. Sixth, we have Israel with Eli Hooley and Blinded Dreamers. Seventh, we have Ireland with Rachel Good with I'm Loving Me. Eighth, we have this year's hosts, Italy, La Presenta de Lista with Ciao Ciao. I think I butchered that so badly, I'm so sorry. Ninth, we have Serbia with Sergio and Muscacina.
10th, we have Bess. We have Finland with Bess and Ram Pam Pam. 11th, we have Romania with Gabriel Bascu and One Night. 12th, we have Czechia with Goody and Yazinki. 13th, we have Portugal with Ciro and Anida Nos Tempos. 14th, we have the rest of the world with Christina Ramos with Heartless Game. 15th, we have Latvia with Bermudu Divristus with Bad. 16th, we have Germany with Felicia Lu and Anxiety. 17th, we have Iceland with Daughters of Reykjavik and Turn This Around. And 18th, we have Albania with album Ramosa with Feji. And if I butchered anything, I apologise.
In 19th position, we have Norway's North Kid with Someone. In 20th position, we have Australia's Voyager with Dreamer. In 21st position, we have Estonia's Anna Salena with Champion. 22nd, there is Malta's Denise with Boy. 23rd, there is Slovenia's Batista Cadillac with Mimplavil. 24th, there's North Macedonia's Viktor Apostolovsky's Superman. 25th, there is Lithuania's Lola Zero with Not Your Mother. 26th is Denmark's Full Effect with Røv med Denga de Dainge. And finally, in 27th position, there is France's Pauline Changer with Nuit Pauline.
Oh my god, that is a lot of entries. 27th, or 27 entries. And that is a joint record with another year, which I've completely forgotten about, so I'm sorry. But there is another year where we do have 27 entries. I think it's 2017, so someone correct me wrong. But anywho, all right, then we are going to start off the episode with looking at the lineup for this year's Second Chance Contest. Euan and Jazzi, I'm just going to ask you, looking at this lineup, and I know Euan that you've had limited, capacity to watch most of the national finals, but I will ask this anyways. Is there anything you change in the lineup? And if so, like, who would you have selected instead?
I've picked 3 I would have changed. The first one that I would have changed would have been Italy. I would have changed it to San Giovanni's Fafale. I will start with it by saying I really like Ciao Ciao. However, in terms of Sanremo, San Giovanni's Fafale was the song that got me like the first time I heard it on the second night of Sanremo, I think. I can't remember if it was the first or the second. I had COVID, so if I don't quite remember, please forgive me. While with Chow Chow, it took me till after San Remo and even after like Eurovision itself to like really warm up to the song. I feel like the beat and the melody of Farley just makes me want to get up and dance and like just sing along to the song, even though my Italian is not very good. This is definitely my favorite national final song this year. Even if you kind of San Remo isn't really a national final, and I do feel like I need to preface saying that before the Eurovision fandom comes for me. Um, anyway, the second song I would make a little change to is Slovenia. I would change this to All In by Aluma. When I first heard this during the EMA Fresh show, I was mesmerised by the song and the performance. Um, it was one of those performances. It did feel a little bit creepy because they were like staring into your soul, but it felt very sensual, and at the same time, like you just couldn't stop watching their performance. And I do feel like this song would have been a song that would have got Slovenia back to the Eurovision final. Unfortunately, that didn't happen with them for the song that they actually sent to Eurovision. I'm not sure the song that is in OGAE Second Chance is much better than the song they actually sent, but I do feel like this one is. So I would probably change that as well. And then my last change is Latvia's song, which I would change to Aminata's I'm Letting You Go. I am actually not a big fan of Love Injected, which is Aminata's 2015 entry, which I know is a very unpopular opinion. So I know some Eurovision fans that are listening to this are probably going to come for me saying, tasteless. However, there is something about this song that I just find stunning. I think vocally it's amazing. I don't actually know, unlike the other two, whether I prefer it to the to City Zenny's song, while with the other two I do prefer it to these songs that they even sent to Eurovision. Um I I just think this is a better song than Bad in my opinion, and this definitely deserved a place in the Second Chance Contest over it.
So I also have 3 I'd like to change. What I would actually like to say is this contest is so good for me personally because I was really bad this year not following the national finals, as I said. But since got your podcast, got to look at all these songs, it's given me the opportunity and to actually look back at all these national finals. And I'm really really sad that this was a year that I decided to have an off year because this was a really good, strong year for national finals. And there's so many songs that I feel were Eurovision worthy that didn't get to go. Um, and there's also songs that I feel should have been in this selection. The first of them, I've got to say, it's Sweden. I think they made the wrong choice to not pick Tony Sekelius. My Way is such a good song. In these sort of like the songs that are very self-empowerment, self-love empowerment, things like that, it's very easy to feel cheap or a little bit tacky. But I think Tona does really, Tona is really good at just making that not. It's just if there's not really much you can say on that topic. It's just really just a really good song. It actually feels, I don't know how to describe it. You can just feel the sense of the sense of self love, the self empowerment, and it's just everything about it is just brilliant. The second one is Portugal. I really think they should have picked Degradé by Pongo Intersani. There's so much that I could say about the song. It just speaks on such a deep level. It really is such a good performance at crossing the language barrier. The way that the two of them interacted on the national final. Okay, I will admit the final wasn't as strong as the semi final, but the way they interact is just so powerful and just so evocative. Like when Pongo does the Shake K parts, it's just magic, and I'm really sad that I didn't get to go to Eurovision. And for my third one, I've already been told that I'm not allowed to speak about this for a long period of time because I could go on for this about for 20 minutes, but I think Spain made the terrible, terrible choice twice. With one first not picking Tanchugueras' Terra for Eurovision itself, and secondly for not actually picking it in the OGAE Second Chance. It's such a good song. They are such amazing singers. The whole song, the performance, everything about that is just steeped in culture. Is just so representative of them and their culture, and I feel that's something that Eurovision really needs. It's that representation of minority cultures, and I just think it should have been picked. It's just such a good thing. But yeah, those are the three that I would change.
Okay, for me, I've searched high and low in each national final. Most of them I do agree with their choices. Some I could fight for someone or another entry, but some are like, okay, I can actually let this pass on. So kind of like what Euan said with Medina. Like, didn't like it, but for me, they're great. I'll delve into that a bit later on. But anywho, I have three. And luckily enough, that all of our opinions actually varies. So that's a rarity that happens. I think that's just because we have 27 entries. But first up for me, it's Albania. Um, no disrespect to Alban because Alban is majestic with his performance at Festivali Kengis. I'll give him that, but I'm just a sucker because I really wanted Meerut to be selected. Like, I've been ever since he performed in Festivali Kengis in 2020. Like, I really liked Perdek, well, his entries for this year's Festivali Kengis, and is really emotive for me. So I really like that. And, for me, like, we won't see him in this year's Festivali Kangas, which makes it even more of a heartbreak for me. So, yeah, I wish he'd gone further than that, but I'm happy. Second of all, I'd go for Czech Republic. Um, Yuzinki's nice. It's very, very different. I can see why they picked it. But for me, I wouldn't have minded if they sent Ellis Moraz again. Because in 2020, they actually sent Ellis in 2020. And um, you know, Ellis got second place in Czech Republic, and Ellis got second place in ESC set again this year. Well, for this year. So I'm really gutted, and she got to San Marino as well, and that didn't end well for her. So very, very gutted. She has that charisma and vocal capability, and just greater personality on stage. So I really wish it can get to Eurovision one way or another because I'm getting a bit frustrated and seeing her lose, and it breaks my heart. Third one, I think I'm gonna have a fight with Ewan on this one, but my third one's Lithuania, and nothing against Lolita. Like, I love Lolita's performance. It's very different, and I can see why the Lithuanian club picked that. But for me, I would have picked Ieva. Um, Ieva competed with I'll Be There on this year's Babandum Ish Now. It really broke my heart because, like, I can see how much Ieva has grown since 2018. Obviously, we won't talk about like what's gone on, but if you want to read about it on the internet, go do your own research because I'm not going to say that out here. Um, you know, um, it felt really emotive. It felt like it's really herself and unique and her unique self on I'll Be There. And it's one of my most played national final songs. So I'm very gutted that, this didn't go one way or another, but it is what it is. Um Anywho, all right then. So now that we've looked into what we would change, let's go talk about our favorites. We're gonna go on and just talk about three of our favorite entries from this year's competition, and I'm just gonna let Jazzy kick things off and ask her what's her favorite three.
Okay, so the first one that I want to talk about is Israel, Eli Holly, Blinded Dreamers. I find this song super underrated by the fandom. I really like the beat and I really, really enjoyed the staging of it during the X Factor Israel final. I thought it was really, really nice. This song definitely is something that I could imagine hearing on the radio in the UK. Like it had that indie-like feel. I also feel like this would have got Israel to the final at Eurovision, whereas I Am by Michael Ben David did not. I just think this is just a better, more polished, like better put together song than I Am was. I also really, really like Eli's voice, and I really hope that he gets his chance to represent Israel one day. Obviously, it won't be in 2023 because they've already selected their artist who will represent them, and super excited for that, by the way. And yeah, the next one that I would like to quickly speak about is Norway's North Kid with Someone. Um, it it was a song that was kind of just there for me. When I heard it like for the first time on Spotify, because that's the way that Norway released all their songs. They just put them on Spotify first. When it as a song it was all right, but then when it was like you saw the staging at Melody Grand Prix 2022, it was very elevated. They performed it with emotion, and the staging and everything just really like lifted this song up. um I think, as people are quite aware, I am not the biggest fan of Subwoofer and definitely not the biggest fan of Give This That Wolf a Banana. However, I do see that this probably would not have produced the same result that Give That Wolf a Banana did at Eurovision. So I'm not surprised that Norway went with that over Someone, but I was very surprised at how well Someone did in Melody Grand Prix. I was expecting like Death of You, Death of Us to be in the top two, but this did really, really well in the national final. I think compared to what it was when we first heard it, to like compared to what the final product on stage was. So I do feel like that deserves a mention. And then my personal favorite in this lineup is, I don't think anybody would be really surprised by this, by the way, that the stuff that I've talked about on Twitter, etc. But my favourite song in this lineup is definitely Iceland with Daughters of Reykjavik with Turn This Around. The song and the performance go off. They are so fun, so energetic, and this is still a song that I listen to daily. If I'm completely honest, I remember I think this was my biggest national final heartbreak during the national final season. I remember just sitting there for like 2 hours, just being so disappointed that this hadn't won. However, I will say that Sister's song really, really grew on me, like as the season went on, and I'm happy they got to go to Eurovision. I'm happy they got to go share their message. And I thought they were amazing representatives for Iceland. So definitely no hate to Sister. Um, However, on Daughters of Reykjavik, this song just definitely wanted to get me up dancing. I hope it's like played at Eurovision events, like at Euroclub, at Eurofest, Manchester Calling. I hope I hear it more at Eurovision events because I just want to jam along to this. This song was great fun, and I do think this could have been another top 10 for Iceland at Eurovision had Iceland opted to send this to Eurovision. I just think they would have been great representatives for them. And that is my top three.
So I have a top three that I honestly do listen to all three of these songs daily, possibly even multiple times a day. I love them so much, and I really love that they're here. The first one I'm going to get out of the way, which is probably very contradictory. So in third place, it's Rigoberta Bandini's "I'm a Ma." I know I did say about 10 Gears, but Benidorm Festival was such a good year, and with Rigoberta, I don't. There's not really a lot I can say about this. First, the iconicness of bringing a giant breast on stage. I mean, where are you going to see that? It was just amazing. But the song itself, even though it's so light-hearted and fun and just happy to listen, like you're really happy to listen to, it also has that good message behind it, which I think is something that really would have made it a good Eurovision song. It's got that whole package of the fun, the spectacle, and the message. I just think it was a good thing. I just love the way Rigoberta speaks and she sings. It's just the way that she says at the start of the song, and just really that soft way she opens it. It's just perfect. Um, in second place, it would be Finland's Bess with Ram Pam Pam. It's so I'm probably going to repeat myself a lot with it, but it's just perfect. The punchiness to it, it's just you can feel the energy inside you as you listen to it. It's such a good headphones strutting song because you can just feel that energy build up inside of you, and the lyrics behind it. Like one of the lyrics is just "My heart doesn't dance to your beats." The way that she's presenting the concept of wanting to be herself, wanting to like live in her own way and not be tied down in a relationship with something she wants, and just how it's presented. I just love the way that she's done that. It's just such a good, just dancey beat as well. I would really hope that this is a song that's just permanently played at all of these Eurovision events, because I feel like it just it just needs to be. It's just so perfect. Sorry, I'm just repeating myself. And the in my first place, I love how I didn't actually even tell Tim what my top three were, but it's Lola Zero's "Not Your Mother." This was actually my favorite in Pamadama Scenario, which is one of the few national finals I did follow. I love dark electro, and I understand to a lot of people dark electro isn't very welcoming. But for me, I feel like this is such a very accessible song. Just the energy and the power behind it, and it's just so different from all the other songs that were in Eurovision this year. And you don't really get a lot of songs like that. That I feel like it's something that could have stood out really well. And although I do love Sentimentai and think it was really good, and it got a good enough position for what kind of song it was, I feel like Lola to Zero could have got a little bit higher. And it's something that would have been really good having that sort of like the Eurovision canon. And again, the message behind it was just like wanting to be yourself. And it's just sorry to repeat myself. It's just perfect, and I really love the songs that have been selected from these three countries. But yeah, those are my top three. Sorry for repeating myself.
Oh my god, I really thought that we weren't gonna have a clash, but it turns out we are. But you'll hear about it in a minute. Anywho, okay, all I'm gonna say is, for me, um, I am a bit of a basic boy, and I love pop. So, I think you already know where this is gonna go. All right then. So let's delve in deep in my top three. Okay then. So third place. It will be a crime for me if I did not say Sweden. in any capacity. But yeah, Sweden is my third place. Medina with Ini Demon. It is such an anthem. Oh my god. Like from the moment I saw it on its Deltavling, or like its heat in Melody Festivalen, and it was just iconic when they went straight to the final, and Sammy's face when he when they got the points, like throughout the night, his eyeballs were just like, huh? People voted for us? What on earth is going on here? And yeah, they did. And I'm quite excited about that. But because I was there, I was in the final of Melody Festival in 2022. I was in Friends Arena on the floor when they asked the audience to stand up. They did. And we all, like, it waved our balloons and like signs along to them, jamming along to Eenie Demon. And if Sweden really wanted to send something Swedish, Medina would have been the best one, because it's such a party anthem. I think they would have brought that party anthem to Turin. Shame they didn't, but it is what it is. um Second place, same with Ewan. Bess, ram pam pam. And let me tell you, when I first listened to this, whew, I was blown away. It was just like, you needed a bit of an oomph on a national final. You need a bit of an oomph in Eurovision. Um, Best could have been that. And that's what really frustrates me about about Finland. No hate to the Rasmus. The Rasmus are great, and Angus would probably kill me if I say this, or I don't know, because he likes the Rasmus as well. But like, I really did not, I did not get the choice. Like, look, I get it. Finland rock equals great result, and I don't think that equated very well. Like, I think we can all tell that that did not equate very well. Like, even Hurricane would have been a better choice. But yeah, I think Bess would have given that oomph. Especially when she performed it in UMK. Like, um, she gave it everything. And you know what? I would say this, despite her not getting to Eurovision, she did have like a record in the Finnish radio charts. I'll take that, because, it means that you don't have to go to Eurovision. I mean, Bess is already an established artist. Yes, we get that. But, you don't need to go to Eurovision to make something out of it. And that was the proof. I wish Bess would come back to UMK23. If not, then, I hope we see Bess after that, because um she deserves it. Or yeah, she deserves it so much. But anywho, it's time for my winner. And this one surprised me, because I did search high and low in this lineup, and I didn't think there was any other entry that I think would have had it. And I personally, for me, my winner is Serbia. Sarajevo with Muskarchina. And oh my god. Oh, like, I was gutted when Moya 3 did not qualify to the final. And, Sarah just comes back, and, hopefully she can follow in Nevena's footsteps. Um I was really gutted this did not win. Like, you have no idea. I was rooting for this so hard. Like, I just read on social media about, like, how much preparation went into this. Like, apparently she spent so much on the staging for the Serbian national final. And, for her to come second, which I understand, but like, I would have loved to have seen her, because I think she was like part Italian or something like that. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I've had it on repeat, like ever since after the national final. I mean, no disrespect to Consacta, I am still clapping my hands and washing my hands differently ever since Incorpora Sano was, came into my existence. But, had it been another year, we would have had Sarah Joe having her grand comeback, and I really think that she would have gone through and, you know, you know, actually did one better than Moe 3. And no, same as Nivena, and got her redemption. Happy days. But you know what? I hope she comes back. Just because I really want her in Eurovision. Like I'm very frustrated about that. All right then. Anywho, so we've talked about the lineup, what we would change to that. We talked about our respective favorites. Looking into this, how do you think the end game would be? At the time of recording, OGAE Norway said, who's hosting this year's contest, that the results would be mid October, and obviously we hope to publish this episode before that. I'm just gonna ask you, Jazzi and Euan, how do you think this will play out? Who do you think would shock, like in the results wise? Like, who do you think would score low? Who do you think would score high? And obviously round this off by saying, who do you think will win at the end of it? Not personally, because we've just said our personal thoughts, but who do you think would win, taking everyone into consideration?
A song that I think will score higher than I would have thought initially might be Lolita Zero. I don't personally like the song very much. However, I do think that Eurovision OGA fans will gravitate towards the performance of that song. So I do think that will score like higher than I would personally put it. Um, Something that will score lower. Sorry, I've been put right on this. Oh, maybe Ireland's Rachel Good. I do think that is something that the OGA crowd would usually adore, but I don't know. I think the field is so strong. I think it'll just get forgotten about. However, I wouldn't be surprised if it did well either. It's a bit of a weird one for me because I personally don't think it's that strong of a song, but it's something that I could see the OGA crowd liking. So like I could really see it going either way. Like it does. It shocks me because it doesn't do as well as I thought it would do because it's a typical song that I do think the crowd would vote for. Or it could shock me because it does very well and I don't actually think it's a very good song. So yeah, I'd probably go for Ireland. Um, as for the winner, oh, Italy or Finland? I think that Chow Chow's performance is up there, and I do think the OGA crowd will adore the performance of Chow Chow. But I do think they will ultimately go for Finland's best with Ram Pam Pam. I just think it's what they would typically vote for. It is it's a hell of a banger. I just think the winner this year will be Finland and Bess. But honestly, I have no idea. It's hard to like second guess how these type of votes will go, but they're just my predictions.
I think echoing what Jazzy said, it is quite difficult to guess this because if you were to guess from the entirety of the fandom, it would probably be a bit easier to slot things into a certain upper bracket. They'll love this, this will be hated, such. But because OG has more of a skew in its demographic, towards sort of a lot more, at least in a lot of Western European countries, is more older. I feel like something that might do well that wouldn't necessarily do so well in a general open entire fan one would be Poland's Kuba. I feel it's something that could resonate quite well with the fandom. I think two ones that would do quite badly. Rigoberta's I'm Mama and probably Full Effect because I don't see them being songs that them being acts that would resonate with the OG crowd. I think ones that will do well I think North Kid could do surprisingly well. But I think the ultimate winner. Oh, this is difficult. Um, I think the ultimate winner is going to be Anna Helena. Um, I just think it's very OGAE. Yeah, I just think there's going to be that one. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's such a choice, Ewan. But okay. I mean, I'm just gonna echo what Ewan said, and just basically like you've got some entries where you think, okay, this will definitely be in the upper bracket. So I'd say Medina, Rigoberta Bandini, Sarah Joe, Bess, and La Presidenta di Lista. Um, Lolita Zero, just because they're the ones that I've seen most about on Twitter, and which is where I go on mostly to just talk to everyone in the Eurovision fandom itself. Thing that I would not be surprised if it score low. I agree with Jazzy and like Ireland. No disrespect Rachel, because that's a good performance personally for me. Um, Another one would be um Full Defect, because I just don't think there is anything on. Look, no offense, it's a good song. Like, to rave, I dance to it, but like, no, not for personally, not for me. Another thing that would shock me one thing that would shock me if it doesn't get anything, maybe Anna Saline, maybe if she's in the lower bracket, because established Eurovision artists who have already done it and just been selected by the fandom. It's just a bit, I'm a bit curious on that. Um, Something that might surprise North Macedonia with Superman, just because I did not expect this to landslide completely. Even in Sa Evra song, when I was just like, okay, I know Andrea was gonna win it. Like, it was obvious from the outset personally for me. But like, when I saw the voting, I was just like, how did this like go up in the jury and the televote, which shocked me a bit. Um North Kid, just because host country or host club. So I would not be surprised on that one. Beauty, same as the other one, I'd shocked about that. Looking at it personally, I think the winner would be Sarah Joe from Serbia. Just because that has like the the reaction on the fandom when this lost. I think it was quite huge. From what I've seen on my timeline, I can't really say anything on everyone's timelines, but like when Sarah Joe did not get it, I think the look on her face was like, yeah, just sit there, yep, smile, just smile and wave, and going to the club afterwards after she lost. But yeah, personally for me, it would be I still think it would be Sarah Joe, just because the history's there, the clamor was there for it, and the performance itself, and the Serbian national final was there, so it ticks all the right buses. But also, I would not be surprised if it's Bess. Like, I think it's either those two, but personally, Sarah Joe. Stick to my winner as usual. Okay, well, I think that brings us to a natural end to us talking about the Second Chance Contest. This has been a very lovely episode, and I'd love to thank Euan and Jazzy for accompanying me. So, who do you think will win this year's OGAE Second Chance Contest? Let us know on social media, at That Your Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also don't forget to follow the website, uh, That Eurovision site, and That Your site on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, because you know after this episode, this is good. It's just going to be full on Eurovision 2023, and of course Junior Eurovision. So we are very excited to that. But before we say goodbye, um, Jazzy, Ewan, Do you have any final thoughts about the Second Chance Contest?
Superman bops, low key, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Because I said it in the chat, so I'll say it here.
My only thoughts are I am going to be incredibly disappointed by the results, and I just know that already.
All right, then. Well, my final thoughts would be it's more of a thank you, really. Thank you, OGAE Norway, for hosting this year's, and congratulations once again on your win last year with KEiiNO and Monument. We wish you the very best of luck, and we hope to see. Well, we're very excited to see the results for the 2022 OGAE Second Chance Contest. And with that, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.